The purpose of this weekend was to bring young people together from all over Scotland who work in community groups as young volunteers or young leaders, to expose them about the issue of sectarianism so that they could take it forward and tackle it in their own communities through peer education.
I'd say my high spot is learning new stuff about sectarianism and how it can actually affect people and what's the consequences if you say bad stuff about it. I wasn't really confident on it, but now I'm more, because I've seen what we've did and it's made us better.
Well, the standout thing's probably been the video making, because it got us in groups and sort of you're putting your ideas across, and when you actually get to make the video together and sort of see the message it puts across, it's really good, really enjoyable.
I didn't actually know that much about sectarianism until I got here, and I was like, oh, I didn't have a clue about that. Apart from the whole Celtic Rangers thing, that's just really all I was aware of, and it turns out there's a whole lot more than it seems.
The scene we made was we picked up headphones, just general day life, picking up a set of headphones off your bed, but then we had just a shot of feet walking away, and then another set of feet coming towards you, so they crossed, and then you hear a camera noise, and then it skips to outside where they were taking a shot of someone opening a Snapchat, and it said, "Oh, look at this Fenian bastard." And it's pretty much to get the point that sectarianism can happen in everyday life without people even noticing, where you could be walking along the street and somebody could be like, "Look at that." My vision for the youth is that you could show it, just show it, and then at the end of it being showed, you could be like, "What do you think this is about?" So we try to get it out of the young people what they think this is about.
Our film was about two people on a social networking site. I think it was Facebook. They were on that social networking site, and someone put up a status about a football game, and another person just said, "Don't say that about this person," whatever. And they met each other in the street, and the girl got battered because she said that. And the person who battered that person, his little sister, was influenced by him, and she thought it was okay to say the words that he said to her, like the sectarian language and things, and then she ended up with no friends because of that.
Well, it was in a youth club, and basically the kids leave and remember they've forgotten their jackets, so they come back to hear the two youth workers bad-mouthing one of the kids who's listening, basically saying horrible things about their family and because of their religion and what team they support and things like that. So I think that's sort of a message saying it's not just young people, adults do this as well, and we're all sort of teaching each other that. I'd probably just sort of show it and see how the people perceived it for themselves, see how they thought about it, and then just sort of put it across as it doesn't matter what age you are, what authority role you have, it's wrong no matter what.
I really like all the films. I think the ideas are all very good. Everyone seems to have been able to come up with like an original idea, and none of them are similar, do you know what I mean? I think they're all going to be really useful.
Throughout the course we use various tools and methods to implant the knowledge of sectarianism, what it meant. So we used games like Whispers. Whispers was based on the game of Chinese Whispers. We came with a message. We started off at one side of the group and worked our way around the room, which ended up with pretty much what happens in real life, a misconstrued message. It meant something one day and it was accurate, and over the years it's passed pillar to post, through person to person, from group to group, and in that time comes misconstrued. Bits get added in, bits get taken out, and the message isn't clear. And that's a real good activity to pose to young people, to show how in everyday life messages get misconstrued and get jumbled up, but over the historical sense of sectarianism, how that's affected it over history. One of the other games we used was Balloon Burst. Balloon Burst is a game where we place sectarian words, or potentially sectarian words, not all, in balloons. We then blow up the balloons, we then tie them off, attach it with a piece of string to a person's ankle, and then we run a game which is pretty much a free-for-all and using health and safety at heart. They get to burst each other's balloons by stamping on them. Within the balloon was a piece of paper, so they pick up their piece of paper and retain it until a winner of the game has came along. Once the game stopped, we can then go round the room and discuss the words that was in the balloons and look at the discussion base. Was it sectarian in nature, or was it not? Or if they were unsure, what we found was there was a lot of words in there that they hadn't heard before, but understood or could relate to, but didn't know the true meaning of it. And in that sense, they're now more knowledgeable in those words, so they can now identify when those words are said and identify sectarian issues within their groups and communities now.
I've always found it quite hard when I'm working to get all the kids to get together and actually do something together. So it's really effective. I'm going to start using that in my work now and see how that works out with the kids.
I definitely like the dot one, you know, the hi Harry, hello Harry one. I like that because I feel as though that would definitely help improve people's concentration before we started.
Sort of the best one for me was the one with the balloons, where we had a word regarding sort of around sectarianism, and basically everybody running about and you get to pop the balloon. Once you pop the balloon, you get the word and you get a wee definition once we all get back together. But sort of that wee game gets everybody sort of tuned in, they're enjoying it, and then sort of after it they're sort of tuned in, you're listening to the definitions and stuff like that to find out what they all mean.
So don't forget, in the learning pyramid, lecturing sits at 5%. So not everyone's going to take on board what you're saying. Let's get them doing it, and let's let them discussing it. It works best by discussing, but even better by doing. So by practicing games, in group work, in discussions, the message will get across stronger. There'll be self-identification in there of how they take it forward. So make sure you jazz up, spice up, and make it fun throughout your sessions. And while those games are going on, not all the pressure or eyes are on you, so that gives you a moment to think, regroup and take stock of where you are at and how to take the next part forward.
I feel like before, we did run a session for the youth group that I work with, but all of us were very nervous and none of us really knew what to say. But I feel as though now that I could help definitely lead the session, and I would be able to contribute more than what I did. The past one I did, I would be able to ask more questions and I would be able to sort of communicate with people better.
Well, before the course, with regards to sectarianism, if I was to get up in front of people, I'm probably quite unsure about what to talk about and how to sort of put the message across. But after doing the course, when you've seen the likes of doing the games, sort of learning more about the actual topic sectarianism, I feel a lot more confident.
I see as a young person being a peer educator is very useful, because sometimes young people the same age as me and stuff won't listen to adults, but if their friends trying to get the point across, they'll listen up, so they will, and get on with it.
From the first moment everyone arrived, they were a bit nervous and a bit apprehensive, but it was fantastic to see how much you've grown between Friday and Sunday. You've all came on leaps and bounds, you've all built on your weaknesses and built even more in your strengths. The group work you've done, the discussions you had were fantastic. At some point I didn't want to end them. You grew so much in knowledge, you all can now identify with sectarianism where you are and in your own communities. It's now over to you to take it forward, to make a difference in your communities, groups and projects. Tackle sectarianism head on, and it's more powerful coming from you. So from me and all the rest of the guys, an absolute brilliant, well done. You should be so proud of yourself, because I am. And remember, it's over to you.